Well, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us here on GNN Radio. Last hour, we were speaking with Kevin Bryant, Lieutenant Governor for South Carolina. He's a candidate for governor, and the primary is coming up on June 12th. So that's a very important day as South Carolina voters will be selecting who they will be voting for governor in November, the November election. And Kevin, we welcome you to the GNN studios.
Sure, Brian. Great to be here.
Where are you going to be in Conway this evening?
There is a rally on the river put on by several of the area Republican parties. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a great time.
What time does it get underway?
6 o'clock.
All right, so folks could be there and get to meet you.
Sure.
Very good. Well, we want to ask you this because this is very current. We talked last hour a little bit about your contract and some of the changes and ethics reform that you'd like to see take place in the South Carolina government. But just last week was a big news item. I saw it over the weekend and was astounded how quickly and how close it came to us really redoing some issues with pro-life. And at the same time, I saw where Iowa was successful in getting some things done.
They were.
And we came very close. What happened with this?
So the short answer, what happened is the Republicans gave up.
That's what I thought.
The Republicans gave up. This bill would outlaw dismemberment abortions.
Okay.
And I preside over the Senate as lieutenant governor and did have to make some parliamentary rulings. Needed to be there in case there's a tie. That's when I get to vote. And we came within one vote of ending a Democrat filibuster that went past midnight 2 nights in a row.
Okay.
And there were 2 Republicans and that would not vote cloture. Cloture is a procedure to end a filibuster.
Right.
And had one of them voted for cloture, we would have ended the filibuster and outlawed this gruesome procedure.
Where are they
in South Carolina?
Those 2 Republicans?
The 2 that never voted cloture, Hugh Leatherman from Florence and Luke Rankin from Horry County.
Okay.
Had one of those voted cloture, we would have passed. Actually, the Senate version at the time was much stronger than what the House sent us, and we feel like the House would have concurred. But Brian, here's the frustrating thing. Folks ask, how can a Republican-controlled Senate not shut down a filibuster by the Democrats on a pro-life issue? Well, Brian, we have a Republican majority in the House, a Republican majority in the Senate, not a conservative majority. I call it the rhinocrat majority. Mm-hmm. This rhinocrat majority caves to the Democrats over and over and over, and it's unfortunate. We came so close. We were even prepared to stay Friday, Saturday, Sunday, as long as it took.
Sure. But
the determination of the Democrats was stronger than the Republicans in the Senate, and they unfortunately they voted it to send it back to committee. So the bill's just not going to happen.
So it won't happen, or will it go to committee and they'll rework it? And
there's only 3 more legislative days.
Okay.
So Thursday, we call it sine die. By statute, we end at 5 o'clock on Thursday, and this bill is not going to. I don't think now.
Right.
There may be some efforts to revive it. I'd love to see that. I do have some good news on that front, Brian. Is the budget right now in its current form passed by the House of Representatives defunds Planned Parenthood.
Okay.
There was an effort in the Senate to defund Planned Parenthood. Here again, came very, very close. Actually, leading the charge was the senator who replaced the district that I used to represent.
Okay.
Led the charge to defund Planned Parenthood, fell a few votes short in the Senate, but the House, with a resounding majority, I believe the vote was 60-something to 23-24, by a resounding majority, defunded Planned Parenthood. And I would just like to encourage your listeners to contact their state senator and insist that they support the defunding of Planned Parenthood. As president of the Senate, Brian, when a bill passes the House and the Senate, it needs to be ratified.
Right.
It needs a signature from the Speaker, and it needs a signature from me. Last year, I told the legislature, if one single penny of taxpayer dollars go to evil organizations like Planned Parenthood, I'm not going to ratify it.
Right.
I'm not going to ratify it. And this could take a court challenge. I don't know what's going to happen. I'll go to jail before I'll ratify this budget. if it finally gets through there, then we're gonna ask our governor to veto that section in the budget, which would force the legislature to come back and rewrite the budget.
Okay, so South Carolina does have line item veto?
Yes, we have line item vetoes, and that could happen. The legislature's not going to shut down Medicaid.
Right.
They would be forced to come back and rewrite that budget, and it takes a 2/3 vote to override a veto, so the votes aren't there. So if the Senate takes it out, it doesn't get ratified, somehow it gets to the governor's desk, he can veto that section,
Okay.
which would force the legislature to come back and rewrite the budget and not send Planned Parenthood any of your taxpayer dollars.
So that is good money, good news. And one of the things that I think is interesting is it's not. I don't think folks realize a lot of times that money goes to organizations that are supporting Planned Parenthood. So it's not like a direct thing to the group. It goes through Medicaid. Or,
It goes this goes through Medicaid, and Brian, there's all kind of propaganda out there.
Right.
Well, you're denying access to health care.
Right.
There are 3 abortion clinics in South Carolina, and they're all one's in Greenville, one's in Columbia, one's in Charleston. Very populated areas with health care at every street corner. And I've actually got a map I put on our website of all the federal qualifying health care centers, and they are all over this state. We're simply saying, and let me explain. There are a lot of legitimate family planning services that we provide for our Medicaid, cancer screening, for example.
Sure.
Abortion providers should not get that business. We're simply asking our Medicaid population, you're going to have to get this service somewhere else. And there are plenty of providers all over the state that can provide that don't perform abortions.
Right. That makes sense. And of course, as soon as you start talking this way, Planned Parenthood and the folks who are on that side of the aisle are going to scream that you're trying to deny women their rights, and that's not even part of the
Brian,
whole.
it's not denying rights of anyone. It's restoring the right of the unborn child.
Right.
Of the unborn child that's innocent. Just, our founders, when they made the Declaration of Independence, the very first right they said was life, and then they said liberty, and then they said the pursuit of happiness, and they went so far and said these rights are unalienable, endowed by our Creator.
Right.
And government for far too long has denied that right to the unborn. And we need to restore that right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which is outside the realm of government. This is a right endowed by our Creator. Right. And government has rejected that right endowed by our Creator, and we need to return back to that.
Well, we're talking with Lieutenant Governor Kevin Bryant. He is running for governor, and the primary in South Carolina is coming up on June 12th, so just about a month away. And you're going to be in Conway tonight on the river. You're going to be in that Horry County all week. Is that correct?
No, we're going. It's the old Peanut Gallery on the river in Conway. We're going there tonight. Tomorrow morning I'll be on another radio show in Myrtle Beach. Then I have to get back up to Columbia to preside over the Senate because session starts at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Well, very good. We're glad to have you in the GNN radio studios. If folks wanted to get information about your contract, about just other things of your platform, kevinbryant.com is your website.
Yes, sir.
And I would imagine you're very accessible through Facebook and other areas as well.
We have a Facebook page, kevinbryant.com. We're on Twitter. We try to do everything we can to inform the taxpayers of this state of what we're doing. And Brian, I have a record. A lot of candidates say a lot of things during a Republican primary, but everything that you hear us say, we can point to a record. Remember, Ronald Reagan said, "Trust but verify."
Sure.
And I have a 12-year solid, crystal clear conservative record in the Senate that everything you hear me say, I can point to legislation that I have supported and tried to defeat. Facebook page is an open forum. I allow folks to. We have the First Amendment. That's what we're doing right now on the radio.
That's right.
Some folks are very critical, but as long as sometimes folks cross the line and use some vulgar language, we have to block those. But it's an open forum, and folks are, welcome open conversation, and it's just a blessing that we have this free speech.
Sure.
Sometimes we get aggravated when we hear things we don't agree with, but we have the freedom to respond. And I think of places like North Korea that if someone had an opinion about their government, well, they'd get shot.
Right.
And instead of getting frustrated with free speech, we need to embrace it. Because consider the alternative, I think everybody would agree. It's much better to have free speech than a tyrant like we have in North Korea.
And one of our best exercises of free speech is our free election.
Absolutely.
And we encourage folks to, in South Carolina, be a part of the June 12th primary. And Kevin Bryant, it's always great to talk with you.
Yes, sir, Brian.
And folks would like to know more about your running, go to kevinbryant.com. Kevin, thanks.
Thank you.